Comes out in the chat from Derp. Map number 1, let's get into it. Bants.
Bants or bands, Dev?
Bants, as in banter?
Yeah.
Bit of banterous bants.
Banterous bands, as Capital is going to be the first one out the gate.
Pretends to be surprised.
Pretends to be surprised. That's the most banned operator in ANZ at the moment, isn't it, Dev?
Yeah, I would actually love to fetch some stats on the worldwide, because I've been tracking the ANZ stats personally, but I'm not actually sure if he's... I wouldn't be surprised to see him most banned across all the regions, to be honest. Like, he's just in such a state right now.
Do you think he's like even more banned than a lot of those defender staples we see come out, like Mira, Echo, Maestro?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, Mira, Echo, Maestro, especially Echo and Maestro, they feel very much the similar kind of roles. So you have just, it's personal preference. So I think that you'd see a much more even divide between those three bans. Whereas Capital, you know, there's no other operator that fits specifically into his role.
Except Gridlock.
Yeah, if your name is Fury.
That's some bait, by the way,
yeah,
guys.
that was a meme. Ignore that, please. All right, so other than that, okay, that is a nice, interesting ban, something we don't see every day. Castle, mate, when was the last time we saw Castle banned?
I don't think I've ever seen a Castle ban, Dev.
Yeah, not going to lie, I don't think I've seen one either, at least not for a long time. And looks like Auglis are going to go with the bit more predictable bans. Lion, well, he's Lion. He really changes the way that you can, you know, execute your mobility on the defensive lineup. Auglis don't want to deal with that, and the Echo, well, Echo can just be so troublesome.
So why have they banned the Castle, Dev?
All right, that's a good point. I think that the most effective ways we've seen Castle is similar to what Oddity used it for on those downstairs defenses with a heavy roam on that middle floor around tellers, rotation holes between open area to the main stairs. And look, I guess I'm not sure whether there's like, I personally haven't seen a lot of strategies from Auglis with the Castle where I would have thought that Team SiNister is banning it specifically to counter Auglis, but who knows? You know, we haven't seen a ton of Auglis on stream recently.
Yeah, it's something that I find rather bamboozling, but you know, we just need to see the effects of it before we can, you know, analyze too much further in it. Although that being said, like, how do you analyze about the lack of something when you're trying to analyze what it would do when it's there?
Yeah, that's true. Right, so it's Auglis who are kicking off their attacks. They've got a good wide breadth of utility at the moment. Good hard breaching, good soft breaching in both the Jackal shotgun and that sledge. Good roam control as well with that Jackal. Imarin's a mad Jackal, and you can see how SiNister do have those that roaming presence. I'm not sure whether it's still upstairs, but at very least we've got Copper who's playing that Vigil, which, you know, pretty much an operator designed to roam.
Yeah, one thing we didn't really talk about during the ban phase, Dev, is that we've got all the hard breaches up on the board.
Yeah, all three of them, plus Kaid and Thatcher. You know, we haven't seen Thatcher stay in on bank for a little while. So we may well see some Kaid play, just not yet from SiNister. At the moment, we still have this presence in the top floor from Copper. He's very typically one of the players from SiNister who tries to put the team on his back and, you know, really get a lot of frags. But
Luna is right below that skylight that we saw the Jackal at.
It's a tough position for Copper. Like, in no way should he be winning this gunfight onto Ethan. He's being tracked. He's been droned a couple times. And Auglis are just waiting for him, cutting off his rotations. He wants to bait them into taking these gunfights because he thinks he'll win at least one.
Yeah, well, he's also got the information that no one's coming from lobby, at least just yet, as Emo Rin will find Luna finally. Copper's taken a lot of damage as well, down to just about a third. But they are wasting a lot of time, Dev. It's a minute and a half on the clock.
Yeah, I think the strategy here for Copper is just he wants to get a gunfight, and he doesn't want to be the one to initiate it. He wants to wait for it to happen, and look, Ethan's happy to oblige. He does find that first player. Durpin knows he needs to clean up eventually, and he does find that kill onto Copper. So, 2 players down for SiNister and traded out one of Ethan for Auglis. Not actually that bad for SiNister.
Yeah, especially when you've also knocked 2 minutes off the clock there. So, Auglis are going to have to, you know, open up these walls and these hatches. Bit swift here. No time to double check and, well, you know, measure everything twice, if you will.
Yeah, opening up these hatches now. Plenty of utility to do so. Just got to make sure we're also cutting off these rotations.
Yeah, they've got their Thatcher and their 2 hard breaches up, of course, still.
Yeah, and there's a good amount of utility here for Auglis. Like, we've got our Thatcher to mute out that, or prevent that pulse scanner from really getting information on the plant. We have some smokes to prevent that face peeking, but You know, SiNister still have a lot of denial. We've got 3 smoke grenades and those 2 impact grenades.
We did see that vault hatch getting opened up, didn't we? And, you know, that could completely deny Fisher Guy's position here. So that we're going to see that double impact tossed on out, but no, it hasn't really done the damage at all.
There is nowhere near enough time for August to execute properly. They really have to drop in and start forcing some frags because there's just nowhere near enough time. Diesel's going to be risking this as he plants right into the end of this round. Imorin getting aggressive though. He'll be traded eventually by Arnie. So much pressure, but the plant does go down, and Arnie's the last man standing, eliminated by Diesel as he finishes the plant. So low on time for August, but somehow they managed to keep SiNister at bay.
Yeah, well, I don't know, was Fisher Guy out of smoke grenades at the end there? I don't think he was he?
I think I only counted 2 being thrown, so I'm not quite sure. It's funny, really, because you would have thought SiNister had Maestro cameras. I guess they could have been counted by Thatcher, but you know, they had Maestro cameras, they had C4s, and they had smokes and 2 impact grenades. Like, that's a lot of denial. And it was wasted.
Yeah, it definitely was, and you know, I think it's got something to do with the fact that they were very worried about that vault hatch drop. You know, we saw Fisher Guy turn around and have a look behind him, and you know, there's those holes down the bottom of in the vault.
Yeah, I also got to say something that I think really threw SiNister off was that Thatchering out the pulse play inside of Vault. It meant that SiNister didn't have as much information that they wanted, and I think they had to use that C4 early. And that's what Diesel was waiting for. You could see he actually wasn't going for the plant for a very long time, right down until about 10 seconds left on the clock, and he was just waiting for that C4 to come out because he knew it was coming eventually. He was just waiting for that pulse to get rid of it.
Yeah, so SiNister jumping the gun a bit in that one, and you know, they don't want to reattempt that bomb site dev. They're going to go for the tellers this time.
Yeah, it's actually quite strange to me that they'll go tellers as their secondary instead of top floor CO, which is where we'd probably more typically see. But some good information gathering, reasonably similar lineup to what we saw previously. Copper actually 6-picked away from the Vigil onto a dock, which I think is maybe to potentially hide the fact that they're changing up their bomb site. Because, you know, dock is something you'd more typically see on the top floor or maybe on this bomb site, but Vigil, you know, that would have just been like, okay, same old as what they brought for that downstairs defense.
So Copper is going to be taking these, you know, exact same angles as if they were defending upstairs here, Dev. Though no one from August willing to peek into him just yet.
Copper is just a player who always wants to take fights. You know, he's so confident in his aim, and he wants to flex into that.
He's so good in that role as well. Like, it's not like he's taking the fights and losing them. No, he's taking fights and winning them.
That's why really you have to play a certain way when you have a player like this with Copper. You know, you have to make sure that you're going to not come into a 1v1 gunfight. You have to win him using your brain rather than your aim.
It's a lot of information gathered by the pulse scanner, but you know, talking about Copper, he's gone down to a headshot from Imorin.
This mute jammer is actually going to stilt out the Jackal a little bit. We'll have to find and remove that jammer before he can properly scan out, and looks like he does. Finds mute.
He's trying to flank right now. C4 going to be tossed on up with a bit of a YOLO.
Yeah, I think that was a player on the roof just landing the 1 bullet. Luna's also playing aggressive in this elevator hallway. A lot of information in theory should be on the side of SiNister with those Valkyrie cameras deployed all over the place, but August are making pretty good time here. Cleared out that first player. Fisher Guy is just about dead. They're starting to open up some angles. That's one into elevator hallway. Luna's rotation now cut off, but no one's actively holding that angle to prevent him.
Yeah, but I think that's what Derpay's position was set up for. He was holding all the way back from ATMs. You can see he was on his drone pretty much the whole time. I think he might be waiting for some aggression. Just look at the whole of SiNister was rotated out and about. And oh, Luna's been discovered. Things are about to get a bit spicy in that elevator.
I think the best position for Luna right now, the best thing Luna can do is just wait. She knows she's going to die eventually. She just has to delay as much time doing it. Wow, she manages to escape there. Not quite sure how she managed that, but meanwhile, Fisher Guy goes down. So 40 seconds left, and August are preparing to execute onto the site. Fisher's been droned out. Arnie wants to find this frag, but Neofighter bests him. Luna now upstairs. The Jackal tracks have expired, but Diesel on the objective is going to get this plant down. Just 2 players left from SiNister to retake. Luna starts the work, though, getting a kill onto Derp.
Yeah, SiNister are just getting bullied by the presence of this Jackal, aren't they? Making it so difficult for these players to try this retake.
Oh my god!
We're going to see Vicious push up for a double! Beautiful stuff there to even the man count now. 2-on-2. They have to be wary about these angles from above. It's going to see Vicious try and maybe stick this defuse. No Neophyter's going to find him first. So Luna's going to turn us into a 1v1. She doesn't have much time, however, and has to be worried about from above. Oh, she's going to try and long arm it through the wall here. Opens up with the deagle.
No.
He's going to start it. Surely Ethan's heard that. Can he find the angle? He's going to see
God.
it. That's a headshot.
Man, that was such a cool idea from Luna. But Ethan read into it. I think you could see he was confused for a second, but he saw that hole in the wall and he had the perfect idea. I don't think August actually had an active drone on that position though, so he was just going by the audio cue. Hard to tell for sure, but a risky position. Luna, a valiant effort. I mean, this double kill from Vicious really opened it up.
Yeah, Emo Rin not looking the right way, seemingly a bit distracted. Luna, what a round from her though.
Yeah, just constantly roaming and evading, and you could see, you know, we thought she was a dead woman standing inside of that elevator. Like, as soon as that Jackal scan went off and they were cutting off her position, if she had peeked out to try to take that fight, she would have not been in any position to help Vicious with that final round. You could see patience really helped her out, and then she managed to escape as well. Good effort from SiNister, but still August leading the rounds 2-0.
Well, back down to lockers. You know, SiNister, I really am surprised that they let Bancon through. You know, that's what I need to write down as something to ask them about.
Yeah, I guess there's always a question. Is this actually the map that you expected to see at the end of the ban phase? Because a lot of the time I find when you ask teams that question, they're pretty good at picking where the ban phase is going to fall. But
yeah,
sometimes, you know, when there is that mistake and, you know, they end up on a map that they weren't expecting, that's usually almost the game already won for the opponents.
Well, yeah, I think teams should be prepared to play on, you know, every map except one, I feel, Dev. In a best of 3, when it goes, you only get one ban. You need to be able to play on literally all the rest of the maps.
Yeah, I mean, this is a best of 1, so maybe it's a little bit different. And of course, we have this system with the map bans where if you play a map one week, you won't play that map the next week. That gets automatically banned. And yeah, so I guess that means that you have to have a bit more of a diverse map pool.
Yeah, well, you know, we of course do not see what goes on behind the scenes in terms of scrims, etc., etc.
But you know, these teams would get a lot of information from scrims about other teams if they're scrim partners with that team.
Yeah, and you know, if teams are pulling out everything in their scrims, of course.
Just gonna quickly note, M870 shotgun on Copper inside the blue tunnel. I love it.
Absolute mad lad.
Yeah, M870 is a bit of a meme cannon, but it is just such a good shotgun. It really is. You know, it has very high damage, often gets the down in just one hit.
Well, we saw Fury have a lot of trouble forcing a shotgun out from the stairwell. I wonder what Augus's plan is to do it and how successful it's going to be.
Looks like Fisher goes the first to fall. The smoke off the table. This is really not great for Team SiNister. Some of these crucial operators, the first to fall. That's the key information gathering and the key plan denial. Like, that is just not great. Oof. Oh, but that's the one kill from Copper with the M87, and it is so stylish, isn't it? He's still strapped, though. Completely trapped inside of that blue tunnel.
I wonder if these main stairs can be flanked. I don't think they're being watched, but do they have some utility up the top there?
See, if Luna had a drone at the moment, caught by one of her pests, then she could check upstairs, see if there's a flank rope for her.
It looks like August have been stalled out, but...
Oh, no, that was the teammate's drone, Copper. That was going to help you.
Well, it looks like they have been stalled out by Copper's position. What is the answer, though, from August? Was that the hatch getting opened up?
Not sure which one it was. Maybe the lobby hatch from Diesel. Just playing patient at the moment. You can see Ethan's just waiting for Copper to get ants in his pants.
I think he's got him.
It's just a bait from Copper. But, you know, when is the point where Copper's going to think, can I just leave? Ethan's playing so patient, he spots him out. He's really going to take that fight with the pistol. Surely not.
Well, what's the other alternative is with the shotgun. The plant's actually going down right now. Is anyone aware? Plant confirmed.
No
and the
way.
push with the shotgun. Beautiful stuff from Copper. 3 on 2. Looks like Diesel has been downed as well.
way.
At least he's very low. Batol. Imorin's going to finish off onto Copper there. So it is just Vicious. An attempted retake with the Elder. We are seeing the pings come out on the bomb site there. Flashbang going to try and hold Vicious off. He's taken too long here. He needs to go quicker.
Some good information being gathered for him, but he's got to make good on it. Wallbang just won't hit. August paying perfectly right now. Just patience. All the way back. Diesel finished off. I think Vicious managed to get the injure, but it was too late. Surely this is going to get denied. Easy for Imorin. There you have it. August get 3 straight rounds.
You know, when we saw SiNister play last week, right, like, on Bank, do you feel like they played particularly bad, or what? Like, because I don't feel like they've been playing bad here. It's just August are clearly a better team.
That's kind of how I saw it last week. Oddity played really well. Oddity always had a strategy that SiNister weren't ready for, and I think that they were also very prepared for what SiNister were going to bring to the table. Here, I don't know, August are just, you know, a very good team. And I think that one of the strengths of August that I don't see as much from other teams is their mid-round, if there is a problem, we will see almost nothing happen in terms of, it looks like there's nothing happening, but there is some serious communication going on in that channel because they are assessing the situation, they're droning it out, and they always have some kind of new idea or plan, especially on their attacks. They always have a concise idea and the full team is dedicated to that. So you could see right here, oh, we don't have control of blue stairs, how are we going to go for the plant? And they just cut off the rotations from blue stairs, and then they got someone in for the plant. And it was perfect.
Well, I'm surprised that Diesel was even able to go for the plant, right? Because if Copper had ran to the bottom of the stairs, he could have denied it, and Ethan was not looking through the hatch.
Or maybe they had a drone watching, and maybe the dead person was on the drone.
Well, even then,
Ethan would have easily been able to rotate. If the call was that Copper was at the bottom of the stairs,
he could have denied the plant from the bottom of the stairs. He doesn't have to push out.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure. I feel like August had a strategy in mind. It's just so difficult, you know. We can only look at one thing at once, right? If only we could see everything.
Well, the Clash pick, Dev, thoughts?
Top floor, this is something we saw a lot from 0RGL in the past.
Yeah.
Another very famous APAC team. And we've seen Walker do so much good with it. Fortunately, I don't think we'll see maybe as much Clash play as we used to from 0RGL now that Walker's gone. He was their Clash player. And Fisher Guy similarly is a player who's really happy to use those high recoil SMGs or high rate of fire SMGs. You know, he loves the SMG-12, the Bearing 9, oh, not necessarily the Bearing 9, but those secondary SMGs, and Clash's automatic weapon is kind of like one of those, but higher damage and less recoil.
Yeah, it does do quite a lot, doesn't it, Dev?
Also got a lot of information gathering, of course, that primary utility of the Clash. Not sure what August's going to do to counter it.
Have to be careful that you don't get too aggressive, especially in this hallway here. If you can get shot in the back if you're not paying attention to where your opponents are positioned. And of course, Fisher Guy's not going to want to come face to face with the Zofia.
Zofia is completely elsewhere though, and it looks like Diesel may well open up this wall successfully. Okay, this looks to be the Clash getting aggressive, but she's got too many angles to look for. Spraying now through the wall. Diesel wants to open up this next one. Fisher Guy gonna maybe peek for information, but that's all of the walls opened up. Those impact tracking failing to open up that wall. Fisher Guy realizes he's fully exposed.
Going to see the Jackal track come out on him as well. So, you know, he might be feeling a little toasty here in Janitor here, Dev.
That said, he's fairly safe at the moment, you know. It's really just his movement that's restricted. If he just sits there with a shield in front of his face, there's not a lot of ways he can die. Not a lot of ways he can impact if the plank goes in. He's just information at the moment, but kills go back and forth, drawing blood for either team. Diesel goes down for August, but he's used all of his utilities, so there's not too much to fret about. Copper wants to go for the peek onto Ethan on these windows, but I think there's a player in lobby ready to peek onto him.
Well, Derpe is going to find him indeed. Peeks around from ATMs. Looks like Fisher guy wanted to take that fight as well. In fact, yes, he is. Emo Rin's going to go down. Luna to find Neofighter as well. So that's Diffuser dropped on the site. So Ethan repelling and Derpe all the way down in open area, rotating around to the Skylight stairwell.
Ethan's in such a difficult position now. You know, he has some good coverage, but he can't really act upon the rest of the round while on those windows. Derp really has to do the heavy lifting here. As Ethan goes down, it's just Derp left. Oops. Oh, that's not good. He's just the lone man standing. He can find another kill, but there's one more remaining. No way you can get this plant. A valiant effort from Derp Air, but Team SiNister find their first round of defense here at CEO.
No, they found their first round of bank after 10 in a row lost, Dev.
10 in a row?
Well, last week they got 7-0'd on it.
Wow. Well, I guess finally there's something to come back from, right?
You don't sound very impressed with me bringing
no,
that.
No. I was just, it took me a minute, all right? I'm a bit slow today.
All right.
I didn't realize what you're getting at first. But yeah, I was like, what? There haven't been 10 rounds on this map. What are you talking about?
Well, either way.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. You know, SiNister finally won a round on bank. And you know, we were talking a little bit in the last game about Zealous and Fury, about, you know, emotional teams. We talked about this with Mindfreak last week. I feel like Team SiNister are a team that really do thrive when they're in their element, and when the you know, the mental state starts to get to them, that's when they fall. And I think that maybe finally after 10 rounds, as you said, they've won on bank.
One round.
One round, you know. Not
Baby
getting ahead of
steps.
myself, but, you know.
At least we can stop face palming our faces though, Dev.
All right, I'll just let that comment sit there and ride shockwaves around the community.
Hatches are being reinforced. As per usual.
Hatches being reinforced. Oh, wow, what a strategy.
Just looking for a segue here, Dev.
All right, it's all right. Let's just glide on past. So, one thing that's I noticed about this round is Copper actually bringing the 416. No more M870.
What is he doing?
Looking for drones.
No, the fact that he just stayed there?
Maybe he was just pretending to spawn peek.
I think he might be trying to say, look at me, I'm all the way upstairs. Oh, heck no, I'm not.
Yeah, that sounds something like Copper would do.
I think SiNister might be thinking we should have banned the Jackal.
Activating drone.
Maybe, but to be real, you know, how much did the Jackal impact on Copper's position? You know, in the previous round, most recently, they Jackaled the Clash, and that did nothing. Before that, they Jackaled Copper when he was playing Vigil, and he still got a kill.
I really think that the Jackal has been a thorn in the SiNister side here.
Well, now Copper's being revealed. Of course, the frequencies of those pings is, you know, it's only once every, what is it, 5 seconds?
Yeah, I think it's about that.
Maybe 6 or so. And so he can relocate between those, especially in that blue tunnel or blue stairs. You know, there's not many places he can be, but it's kind of important. Is he behind the shield? Is he at the bottom of the stairs? Is he in front of the shield? You know, these are important pieces of information. The Jackal's not really telling you that.
Well, what utility are they going to use to try and force him out of here? Of course, he still has 2 ADSs in his pocket, and he wants to go for the aggressive peek. But the pre-fire not connecting with anything. But, you know, they are very aware of his position here.
Yeah, and that's how Copper wants it. But we saw August last round. They didn't feel the need to flush out Copper. In the end, it was really just a bit of a surprise that Copper actually escaped and shot Ethan. Neofighter can hold this angle very easily onto where Copper is.
Why hasn't Neofighter come over to take out those ADSs? And I think Ethan might have positioned himself perfectly to take advantage of Copper here. If he gets too antsy-pantsy, he might go down. But I think Ethan was the first one to move there.
I think the Thatcher EMPs are too valuable to be used on this server room stairs at the moment. At least that's what August's perception is, because it's the KE. So in order to get these Hibana picks successful, they have to throw an EMP onto the hatches to prevent that KE trick. Wow, some information on a Valkyrie camera. They'll be able to see how many players are pushing the lobby side. That's really a lot of information.
Especially how is SiNister aware that the lobby push might be a thing they'll have to contend with. In fact, was that Derp all the way in garage as well?
This is a huge position. Vicious and Derp right next to each other. Oh, Derp, that's a huge mistake, and he gets punished for it. But the time is ticking away and August is falling apart. Luna and Fisho jumping into the fray. Just one left. Diesel, the poor support player upstairs. He can find
nice
one
shot.
just to prevent the flawless round, but that's pretty much over from here. SiNister scraping around 2 rounds in a row on the defense.
Right there from SiNister. They're, what, 200% better than last week?
I mean, technically, you know, if they won 0 rounds last week,
Infinity.
it's an infinite % improvement over last week. So, what's happening here that for SiNister? What do they change that's really making the difference in these rounds? Or is it on August that they've started to lose a few?
Well, I don't think SiNister's playing any different or August is playing any different.
Really? You think it's the same? So what's really changed then?
You know, I know how much you hate this as analysis, but I think the gunfights are just going one way than the other.
I don't know.
Well, could you tell me then, Dev?
Well, SiNister have information and they're making calculated plays based on that. Unfortunately for us...
They had that information the first time.
Yeah, fair. I mean, unfortunately for us, we just didn't see you know, everything was a 5-on-5 or a 5-on-4 or something. And then we saw, what, 2 picks from Fisher and a pick from Luna. We didn't see where they went down.
Yeah, well, what happened is August was trying to drop the hatch.
Yeah, and they dropped the hatch and then
Right into
SiNister had
smoke
full
bait.
information.
Yeah.
So that is information. I mean, was that information on their last round?
What happened last time on that bomb site is we saw August get the first couple of kills, didn't we? And I'm pretty sure it was through that hatch.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see clearly enough. But the thing that was the real difference in that previous round, well, the previous attack onto that bomb site for August, is they did get the bomb down on that CCTV side rather than just pushing the lockers.
Yeah, that's true. But that's also because it was, you know, what, a 5-on-2 or 4-on-2, whatever, copper stuck at the top of her stairs.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's tellers now.
Like, I reckon the rounds have played out very similarly, just the frags have just gone either which way both times. Or at least from what we've been able to see.
Yeah, I guess from that logic, you'd expect that SiNister would even it up here. If you're saying it's pretty, I don't know, pretty even between these teams, it's just about where the frags are falling. Extended barrel on the P10 Roni.
I think same logic as why you'd run an extended barrel on the UMP. On those lower fire rate and, you know, lower damage SMGs, it can be worth.
Yeah, especially when the recoil is completely manageable on like this P10 Roni.
Yeah.
So a lot of information being gathered. Emo Rin spotted out from the pulse scan, and that really helps Copper. See, there's a lot of information being gathered. 2 players here in the lobby. Luna very much aware of Derp's position. Where's the info for August?
Yeah, August not playing like they were, what, 3 rounds ago?
Something's changed. It's difficult to put your finger on it.
Are they getting lazy, maybe?
Ethan drones out Luna, so that's not lazy. But there's no capitalization immediately from Derp. Luna lands a little bit of damage before she falls. She knew she had no choice but to contest in that position, and can't really blame her. Still, August kind of have lost that ability to assess the situation and figure out, you know, what their strat is, what their next move is.
I think SiNister are just playing with a bit more confidence as well, Dev.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, we always talk about how important confidence is in Siege. And, you know, it's not just confidence in yourself, but it's confidence in your team. The trust factor, if you will.
Yeah, SiNister are delivering this information to each of their players, and they're making these calculated, aggressive plays. And it's working. And look, these rotations are actually really well calculated as well. Vicious now on the basement.
But no one's on the bomb site.
Could be an oversight from SiNister, but they have some decent positions to retake. Rotations from open area. Arnie's got plenty of information that he can gather from his Legion mines as well. Just look, they're everywhere. It's like a web of tendrils. And Fisher Guy manages to flank upstairs. There's really no time. This time management for August is really questionable. Once again, we have a plant going down within mere seconds of the round ending. Diesel's likely to lock that in. He is. Arnie was just too late, but he may well take out Diesel. No, Diesel gets the better of him, and Neofighter, another one watching this flank. Vicious is going to attempt to contest the Thatcher. But Ethan will finish him off, and Auglis end the half with 4 rounds on their point side.
Yeah, you know, this is a bit of a throwback to the first map we saw today, Dev. It was a 4-2 to the attackers. I don't think this is going to get the same way, though. Like,
I don't think this is going to be a 6-6.
Yeah, on paper, Auglis are probably going to close this one out. Maybe 1 or 2 rounds to SiNister, but yeah.
7-4 is what I feel at the moment. That said, you know, there are some nice ideas from SiNister. I just think it's pretty astounding how Auglis can consistently go for a plant with less than 10 seconds on the clock and never have it denied.
The thing is that they are planting in unconventional positions. Like we saw where Diesel planted that time. He was deep into the bomb site, up against the wall rather than, you know, right through the breach behind the copper machine.
So what is the secret for Auglis here that's really turning these rounds around? You know, that was not looking to be a great round for them. They lost the first pick. Azimo Rin went down. That's the Jackal as well, so none of that pressure onto the roamers that you mentioned SiNister were feeling earlier. And we saw SiNister had so much information. They were making these good rotations. What turned it to sway to Auglis?
It was 4-4, and we saw, who was it? I think Vicious try and retake the top floor, and he walked right into Neofighter holding the flank. So I think that's the point where we can identify it started to fall apart.
I think one of the things that works well for Auglis is that because they're waiting so long, SiNister starts to think, oh, is this the time we have to flank? You know, 10 seconds on the clock, that's when you're meant to flank, right? And then they do that, and Auglis are still holding the rotations. You know, it's like people used to say about the old Vitality roster, one of the EU teams, that had this really peculiar playstyle. People used to say they spend 2.5 minutes droning and then 30 seconds pushing. And, you know, you could push in trying to go for a flank on it as a defender, you know, with 5 seconds left on the round, and there would always be a player holding that flank, you know, from outside. You know, from the most, you know, you're thinking, why is he there? And that seems to be what's working out for Auglis. I wonder if SiNister can read into that.
Well, you know, now SiNister aren't going to have to face another attack, so, you know, if they make any adjustments, it's going to have to come in the next map. They are on the top floor, making some holes looking down.
Yeah, and they also have catered that hatch in open area, so clearly a heavy open area presence is on the agenda. Copper key fragger for SiNister, getting a lot of information on this utility placement from this IQ scanner.
Using all his breach charges nice and early on.
Yeah, just for key rotations.
Oh,
all right, there's still a player in open area, and he doesn't check for that one. Imorin gets 1 kill and says, all right, got one of their key fraggers. Let's just get back to the bomb site.
Where was the drone? All right, how has Fisher Guy just made his way in from dirt here?
The question is, are Auglis aware of this? Do they have any information in here? Because Diesel's in the blue stairs right now, and if he knew about Fisher's position...
This is a free kill.
Oh my god. That should never happen. That just shouldn't happen. Fisher Guy sneaks in, and I guess there's just no information for Auglis, no awareness from Diesel. That's a huge boon. You know, all that time delay from the smoke is now gone.
Yeah, well, 4v4. So Auglis are gonna, SiNister are gonna want to get their thermite in position to start opening up these angles into the bomb sites. They can start baiting the utility. Although Auglis are one of the teams that time their utility very, very well.
I'm pretty sure I just saw a Maestro camera inside a server, so that could have potentially been information on where Fisher Guy got into the bomb site early, but anyway, he's on plant duty for now. C4 from the Cade may well be his demise. Oh, wow. That Zephyr charge just denied the animation from that Nitro cell and just allowed that plant to go down. I've never seen that used for a Zephyr charge. I'm not even sure it was intentional.
Either way, it is with Auglis having a plant down an even 4-on-4 man count. What can Auglis do from this position?
Best they can attempt is one frag at a time. Pushing forward. Arnie repels against Derper, but he calls out, this is one below. Losing a lot of HP, but there's really just no time left for Auglis. They do have quite a few players left, but SiNister are holding on tight. Ethan, the last man standing, and he can find some kills, but there's just no time. Good stat padding at the end from Ethan, but SiNister do take that round.
Using that deagle rather effectively with the, I believe he's running a muzzle brake with that kind of recoil.
What recoil?
Exactly.
Now, what happened for SiNister there? For me, what I saw is Auglis had pre-ripped that C4. It was Derp playing the Cade. He was waiting to be certain that they weren't faking, and then he was going to throw it out. And then what happened? He was holding the C4 in hand as the fear charge hits him, and it puts the C4 back in his pocket. It disables that animation, so he has to pick it up again. He didn't know what happened.
Yeah, like, you know, we think he's playing the smart game. He's keeping his C4 ripped. He's waiting until they're almost finished so that even if they hear the toss come out, they might not even get off it thinking, oh, I'm almost there. And, you know, the Zofia charge, whether it was time to a T or just, you know, a bit of good fortune there.
I need to ask if that was deliberate.
Well, gee, it's getting a bit chilly, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I don't know what's up.
It's middle of winter here.
Yeah, for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, they won't be quite familiar, but, you know, we decided to continue the trend of what the casters in the Katowice studio were doing, and it's summer over there, so they're all wearing just T-shirts, no jackets, so we're doing the same thing, and it's getting a bit chilly.
Yeah. Oh, well, I left my jacket at home this time, so...
Yeah, I know. You always want to leave your jacket at home. You just love your shirt so much, don't you?
I don't know, I just don't. I'm not like one of those guys that loves to dress up all the time, you know, Dev.
I know. Unless it's a cap. You do like your caps,
It's because I'm bald, okay?
You're not bald. I can definitely see a few hairs.
All right, it's because I'm balding.
All right. Enough of that.
It's very clearly a sore spot for me.
CEO defense now on the top floor. And look, contrasting to the matches we saw earlier today, a thermite is being brought on this top floor.
Yeah, and they're reinforcing those walls. Actually, I'm not quite sure on that, so before I...
When we see the top floor, we'll know for sure, certain. And, yep, I think so. Kind of hard to tell, but yeah, I think so. I like this from Diesel, using his smoke grenades really early just to prevent this pressure from the windows. He knows how important that window position is, but he doesn't take out that drone on sight.
Oh, he's getting aggressive. Oh, the upside down peak.
Really, he shouldn't be winning this gunfight. The attacker with the ACOG should be winning this gunfight on this upside down rappel.
It's not like it's a long angle, though.
No, but it's a tight angle. He does have 2 more gas babes, and if he throws them into the windowsill, he'll be able to deny this position for 10 seconds apiece.
Neophyte has taken some damage and actually had to dock himself on up. Now, is Diesel meant to be denying this thermite charge? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that was the idea, but when placed so low, it's very difficult to get that impact trick successful, and SiNister keep Diesel at bay, open up that key wall.
Yes, Copper spraying on through, but not really finding anything. We did see Vicious go down, so was that only 1 thermite charge used, Dev? I don't think the other one will be opening up the other side of the wall. Derpay to find Arnie as well.
Yep. So it's a lot of utility gone. That hard breach, and also those smoke grenades from Arnie, something that we don't have on the rest of the SiNister players. August still have 5 men up as well. Copper's denying a lot of this this information and utility, however, and Copper trying to get very aggressive on these windows.
Oh, Copper, if he gets any higher, I think he might be going down to Diesel. 30 seconds on the clock. Oh, he's spraying and he can't quite see the player running past, but, you know, 30 seconds, they really have to go, Dev.
So just need to step it up at the moment. Copper knows he can't stay on those windows while there's a player in lobby, and meanwhile, Ethan making sure that only Luna is remaining on site. Now she's the last one left. A lot of work to do, and 1 versus 5 is not really on the menu tonight for Luna. Doesn't really have much chance here. Can get 1, prevent it from being a flawless round, but Emorin will close out that 2nd kill. And August doing pretty well on their defense.
Yes, indeed. So, August just 1 away from securing at least a draw and 2 away from a W. But they can't go back to the top floor, so they're going to head back to the lockers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this locker should be defensible for them. The 2 things that really prevented that previous round from being theirs was 1, Fisher guy just snuck into servers, went up the server stairs and found Diesel, who was completely unawares. I think that kind of rhymes. Up the stairs, completely unawares? No?
I'll pay it. No,
Okay.
it rhymes.
Okay. And then the C4, which was pre-ripped and meant to deny the plant, was obviously, as we said, animation was cancelled by that Zephyr concussion, which I'm still reeling about that. Like, that was super cool.
I don't think it was super groundbreaking, Dev.
I've never seen it before. Have you seen it before?
Well, not specifically, but, you know, it's something we see them spam that utility to deny the, you know, the utility getting tossed at them.
Yeah, I just think it's really cool. I'm a nerd like that. You know, whenever I see creative use of utility, like the way that you can use a Zephyr charge to deny the bandit trick, or you can use a Zephyr charge to deny the counter diffuse, I believe, or is it an Elamine? I can't remember. Can you use an Elamine to deny the? I don't know. See, these are
You can use a Zephyr charge to stop someone from sticking the diffuse.
Yeah. See, that's super cool. I love that kind of creative stuff. Anyhow, it's downstairs now, and August have changed up their strat. You can see we have the mirror brought. We haven't seen much mirror recently.
No, I suppose an Elamine would work, but why would you want that to work as a defender?
No, it could stop the diffuse plant.
Okay, well you said counter diffuse, so...
Yeah, well, I was wrong. It happens. I know it's hard to believe, but it happens. It's the hot breach.
That's hot.
Takes a bit of damage for it, but hey, he's inside.
Yeah, I think that was, you know, is that their drone?
It's a Mozzie drone.
But don't your teammates' drones still show up?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Simplified it. Makes it a bit more intuitive.
Yeah. Something I have to agree with. And look at Diesel's adaptation here, Dev.
Play inside of server and wait for someone to try to sneak in. I like it.
He's, you know, holding out a carry. He's like, they're vicious.
Yeah, just waiting for that bait. August seem to be playing happily just downstairs at the moment.
Anchor strat, what's new? I suppose we did see a Mozzie roaming on this bomb site. Remember when we found Copper as the first pick?
Yeah, true. Copper's just searching out at the moment for this utility. Luna making sure no one's creeping up this main stairs. Now, the next step for SiNister is really to take control of server, and on account of Diesel not being 100% certain that he can watch both the server stairs and the dirt tunnel, he's going to sit inside, get back to site rather, not try to contest this anymore. So that's an easy take for SiNister.
Look at that double mirror set up there.
You remember the mirror strat the other day from Fnatic?
Which one?
The one where they put the mirror on the wrong wall? I love that. You don't remember that? Maybe not. Oh well. We'll talk about it later.
Alright. Why do I feel like I'm in trouble?
So, this time if Ethan wants to go for this C4, he won't have to rely on these Evil Eyes and the Mozzie drones for information on this plant. He has the mirror window itself, and that's a difficult one to counter. But a well-placed smoke grenade could have done the trick if SiNister had brought any. Flashbang may well stun him out, but it goes past him. Diesel's just going to keep throwing out those gas babes. 35 seconds left.
Oh, there goes the Zephyr that time. That didn't make him put it away, Dev.
Maybe I was wrong.
Well, I'm pretty sure that is what happened, though.
Sure. So he's used his C4 now. Neophyte is the one. Pre-ripping is... No, he's not pre-ripping yet. Waiting for the audio signal. Throws it out. He's going to get this kill for sure. Fisher guy goes down, so SiNister need a player to replace it. But Coppertus and Arnie decide that they need to take matters into their own hands. They don't get the mirror as he gets aggressive and denies the plant. That could mean the round. What a play from Ethan jumping over. Arnie tried his darndest to prevent it from happening, but August just barely deny the plant and steal away that round.
Well, so close. Yeah, from SiNister, so close.
So very close. And you could see Arnie, he saw two players. And he saw that one of them jumped over and one of them stayed. And he thought, no point in trying to kill the player in red. He desperately knew that he had to kill that player jumping over because there was no time on the clock. And if that plan got denied, then it would mean the round. And that's indeed what happened.
Well, August fighting for a draw from this position. Looks like we might be seeing a gridlock. Sorry, did I say August? SiNister fighting for a draw.
I knew
from
what
this
you meant,
position.
Monkey. I want to know what percentage of the Aussie operators we've seen in the ANZ Pro League. it's been quite high. You know, Mozzie's been hugely utilized, and to great effect, I must say.
You know, Dev, I believe we've got 100% of Aussie operators playing.
What I mean is the pick rate in the Pro League, you know, per round. You're just teasing me, aren't you?
Yes.
All right, Teller's defense.
Teller's defense.
Haven't seen this yet from Auglis.
No, and potentially the final round here, as it has been 2 in a row for Auglis on the defense after going 4-3, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw SiNister try this site twice.
Yeah.
And Auglis won it both times. Anyhow, looking at the scoreboard, 2 players from Auglis, you know, getting up there, but I think that's pretty notable to say. All the players except for Diesel, who is the key support player, really are stepping up for Auglis. And I think that just goes to show that Auglis, they're not a team like maybe some of the ones we saw earlier today, where they really rely on, you know, a player having a good day. I think even Striking said that, you know, Zealous, you know, they'll have individual players who are really feeling it today, and they'll pop off. And then if it's not your day, maybe it's your teammate's day. But no, Auglis very much different. They individually, you know, they really are more than the sum of their parts.
Oh yeah, 100%. They are one of those teams that, you know, that they can be quite inspiring. Like, even like if you look at their players on paper, like you don't think that they're not the best players in the ANZ region, but they are one of the best teams.
I guess that ability to work well as a team really, you know, that's a skill that these individuals have that is completely undervalued.
And I suppose that was what makes them, you know, good players.
Exactly. Like, you know, we say good players, we usually just mean, you know, individually in terms of fragging or what have you. But Auglis, their communication and their chemistry, which is just as much an individual effort as it is a team effort, that's something that they really do have as a strength. Anyhow, speaking about these guys for so long, they're the ones who have lost the first player. Oh, Fisher Guy does spot out that one player, rotate into Lone Office.
He's already gone through a heck of a lot of ammo with this M249. In fact, Imorin's going to escape again.
And heal himself up for his trouble. The fortune of playing that dock. Fisher Guy will have to drone this out again.
No, he's only got 63 bullets left for his LMG.
That's the funny thing about this LMG, right? It's got these huge magazines. They are magazines, right? I think they are.
Yeah.
So these huge magazines, but you just don't have many spare. So if you pre-fire a lot, as you likely would with the LMG, open up a lot of holes in walls, you're not going to have much ammo.
He's droned right past the elevator there, Dev.
The elevator is such a default position. Like, you have to, if he's not droning in it, you have to assume one's in there.
Well, where does SiNister go with this one? Oh, there we go. They're going to find the first one onto Diesel. Says that support player down. 5 on 3 now. They are in a great position, SiNister. But time is not on their side. 5 on 2 now. Imorin's going to finally spring. But he's missed his shots. Copper to finish him off. 1v4 Neofighter on the bomb site as the Mozzie Aussie. Can he clutch it out from here?
No C4, but he does have this commando. Not a lot of bullets in the magazine, so he can't pre-fire too much, can't take too many fights, can't even find the first one. Vicious stepping right on up and getting his team one step closer to that draw. That's the best SiNister can do from now on.
You said 7-4, didn't you, Dev?
I think that was my prediction, yeah. We'll see now that Auglis can head back to CEO. I think statistically, we should be looking at 7-4.
You reckon that it definitely feels like, what do you reckon the first pick conversion rate is for these teams? Like, if you get the first pick, the percentage of chance that you win the round?
Well, in the case of that round, yes, SiNister got the first pick. That said,
I feel like it's fairly high, like 70 to 80% at least.
Wasn't there maybe, I don't know, like, CGG, RCGG. Auglis got picked on that, both of the Teller's defense, I think, early, and then they still won their attacks. So, yeah, I don't know. What I was going to say, though, is just talking about the scoreline, we were talking about, 7-4, 7-3, 7-5, whatever we end up at, even a 6-6 is still on the cards for SiNister. Even if SiNister don't manage to draw up here, every single round matters. That round they just won, that matters. Because, when it comes down to the thick of it, you know, we have to factor in not just, you know, how many points is the team on, but also if they're on the same number of points, which does happen and frequently, what's the round difference? You know, which team has won more rounds and which team has won the head-to-head?
Yeah, I was going to say, only for it to get ruined by the head-to-head.
I mean, like last season in the Pro League, Fnatic only just barely came first in the ANZ region after August sat on the top of the Pro League for such a long time because of that head-to-head.
You know my thoughts on it, Dev. I think head-to-head should not be the third thing, and that's a topic for elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the reason that we have Zealous in the Pro League right now instead of ACME, because Zealous 2-0'd ACME, absolutely destroyed them in the Challenger League finals, despite having the same number of points. So what I'm getting at here is that, you know, you might just be wanting for the win, or maybe even the draw is better than a loss, but a lot of other factors matter.
Neofighter quite not landing those shots, but there he is, Arnie.
What? Oh my god! How often do you see one of those? But even less often do you see both of them in a row.
Where was Copper? Was he was repelled, was he?
Yep. Yep. Everyone's repelling. And anyone peeking Neofighters going to the grave. Falling right off that repel line. I think it was a repel one on the north windows and one repelling on those west windows.
Well, SiNister, man, disadvantage this time. You know, they did get the first pick in this round, Dev. And I really want to find this stat. Someone get it to me. Want those papers on my desk by tomorrow.
You heard the man.
Well, minute and a half to work with. SiNister, you know, no Thatcher, so it's going to be hard to deny any of... okay, no denial, never mind. They can open up these walls free of charge.
Yeah, unless if we have those impact grenades, which is possible, but, you know, we saw that wasn't so successful last round. I like this Claymore placement, so it's moved further back, so the lasers aren't really going to be looked for. You know, if you're a defender pushing up there, you're going to be training your aim on these positions where you expect players to be sitting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're not going to be looking for that laser, which is on the floor. Oh, Luna in a good position. She just barely gets that kill onto Neo. Sorry, Emo, but Neo does trade her back instantly. So this could well be the last round for SiNister as they lose this numbers. Vicious decides he can no longer continue repelling and gets back inside as just him and Fisher left to clean this one up. It's a messy round.
This round has all been Neofighter for August.
He's found all three of those kills so far, he has. He hasn't even had to use that stim pistol yet. Finally, Diesel jumps into the fray. Another MP5 kill. Vicious, the last man standing. 3 players to find for at least another round and a shot at this draw against August. Neofighter's hungry for this other one. Ethan cleans it up. And August hit the GG here on Bank with a 7-4 victory.
Yeah, 7-4, and, you know, we can't say it wasn't deserved. It was definitely August looking the much better team there and getting the W in the end.
So what was it? 60-odd% for the community vote. Looks like that maybe the fandom for SiNister was a little bit over...
There's always next
over
map.
hopeful. There is always next map. 2 players from August copping that 10+ K.
Then
Ethan
another
and
2
Neo.
on 9.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show August are such a well-rounded team. And, you know, there would be some players out there who, I know, after Neo gets 3 kills, like, you're like, oh, gunning for that 4K, gunning for that ace. Let me add the last one. No, none of that. It's August are so... It doesn't even pop into their mind for a second. You know, it's not even subconscious, not even there. Yeah. You know, it's all about, yes, we have that strike in the win column.
Yeah, and, you know, it definitely shows that, you know, they are a team with a great mental aspect.
Oh yeah, and they're so in sync as well. It's something particular about August that I just see rarely from as many other teams. And there's something about them. They always seem, you know, when there's a strategy that's being employed, every single player is on board with that strategy. And, you know, they always win as a team and they always lose as a team.
Yeah, like, you know, they're not blaming, you know, their teammates. They are blaming the team. And, you know, that's a great thing to see.
So, 7-4 map number 1. What do you guys reckon for map number 2? We'll see what the community vote says after the next map. You guys can have an impact on that. Go to ESL Rainbow 6 and vote. Give us your opinion. I don't mind if you vote with your head. I don't mind if you vote with your heart. Give SiNister all the power you think they need. I've seen some SiNister copy passes in the chat every now and then. I've seen, you know, a lot of SiNister love on Twitter. So, you know, go and support Team SiNister if that's where you think that this match needs to go. If you think August are going to get the 2-0 and keep challenging Fnatic up there at the top, show your support there.
Yep, do that.
If you want to draw, then why? Who wants a draw? No one ever wants a draw.
It's not that people want to draw. It's just, you know, they're trying to be all super analyst of, yeah, it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, that's the way it is. All right, one more map between August and Team SiNister coming up very soon, so don't go anywhere.